Oké, nou, welkom allemaal.
Good day and good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
in
everyone.
a new instance of the webinar of Two Tokens. We are very enthusiastic to have a revisit of Distro, a long-term partner of Two Tokens, and we're going to hear today about the latest updates, developments, and ambitions and roadmaps of the platform that they've created. With me on the table is Alex, chair of the Two Tokens Foundation, and on my right is
Kennard Brandenburgh from Distro Energy. Good morning.
Okay. And for the people who are not familiar with you or are new to you.
Well, my name is Kennard, responsible for Distro Energy. Distro Energy provides continuous peer-to-peer power exchange, as we call it. It's actually a platform where every consumer producer can connect and start exchanging energy with your local peers, including the valuation of that exchange.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to unpack that statement.
Exactly.
Right. in a very much detail. So Alex, are there any upfront questions?
Well, we just had that webinar, so it's not fair. But the listeners weren't in the webinar. But I think it would be nice to summarize what we learned in the webinar. But I think the big takeaway is that there are so many things in the stack that all our individual members and partners have built. We have the complete solution, and the real problem, and that's my question to you: what is the biggest hurdle to getting adoption? Yeah.
Well, the easy answer to that is money. If you look at the concept of energy sharing, there's a lot of talking going around about energy sharing and also about the impossibilities. But in fact, we've developed a platform as a service integrated within the current Dutch market already. So the possibilities are there. The hurdle is to not to add new layers to the financial onion. The core message of our platform is if we connect consumers, producers directly to each other and provide them fair prices in between what the market does, an incentive arises for people to change their behavior. If you then look at connecting to the bigger suppliers in the market, they see this platform as a nice way of buying the energy cheap and still make a lot of margin. If an energy supplier is making a margin and a battery aggregator is making the margin, the end effect for the end customer will be lower. So the trick for us is to make the platform work with the partners we need to actually make it happen, and not add too many financial margin layers to the onion, but have that the profit of the in the end price of energy go directly to the consumers and producers connected.
So is there then your go-to-market strategy at the long term to go directly to business entities and consumers?
My end dream would be that everyone can easily connect to the platform. It's fully automated, so that makes it easier. But for an individual to just connect and get the revenues right away and then start discussing it with their peers in a sense of what can we do to further greenify our behavior. I mean, providing people with financial incentives should also make people make them think about, okay, I'm actually buying your energy, but if you still have a surplus, shall we co-invest in a battery to hold it locally and then use it locally at a later stage? And then the administrative side is actually translating to physical behavior and a physical change in behavior. And that's what we actually want to implement.
We're looking for behavior change in a system that was built in the 1900s. So that's infrastructure that was there with a lot of big companies and a lot of vested interest. How are you going to change something like that? It's not just the consumers. Consumers become prosumers because unless we do what Putin is doing to Ukraine and have a scorched earth and build everything anew, don't you think it's very hard to change the system from within if a lot of people who have, a lot of companies who have a vested interest to not change it? How do you see that? How do you go about that? And you're part of a public-private entity.
Yes, we are.
So you, of any organization, you should be best positioned to make this change.
Yeah, we're aware of this issue. We're aware of the challenge, indeed. As you may know, Distro is owned by the Port of Rotterdam, was created to actually activate local capacity, the power of local entrepreneurs to start organizing themselves locally to actually become more resilient in the congested energy system. We did choose to start changing the system from the inside out to show that it can be done with parties who want to change the system as well. So maybe the large suppliers are not yet eager to connect yet because of their revenue model, their old school revenue model, still making a lot of profit, and they need to say goodbye to if you look at the future energy system. But there's smaller dynamic suppliers that actually want to participate, that actually want to make this happen. One of the arguments, I mean, if you continuously measure, forecast, and you're able to buy and sell energy really accurate, it also has a benefit for a supplier. And to start with, we're serving suppliers, but then on the buying side of their energy, whereas the risk of imbalance and therefore their financial risk position is actually lowered. That's an incentive for a supplier to start working with us for now. And for us, it's a basis to have market coverage, to have access to these suppliers and start cooperating in finding out the new business and the revenue models for them. Because if a supplier needs to say goodbye to the old model, there needs to be a good alternative. And yes, that does take time. It takes a lot of thinking, a lot of time, a lot of concepting. I mean, even the Distro concept is already 8.5 years old. And we're still, we're able to operate it currently, but it has taken us about 6 years to come so far as this point.
So what's the commercial adoption? How many clients do you have? How many volume flows through the platform?
Volume-wise is the best indicator currently.
Okay.
I mean, we're currently serving roughly 150 to 200 gigawatt hours per annum per year. Individual end customers are already thousands because we serve a supplier having a lot of end consumers and also significant large cap connections. So volume indeed, I think, is the right indicator. We're working towards a terawatt hour in the next year. So we're currently in the annual planning round again. So yeah, we're looking forward in the Dutch market in expanding both in the Rotterdam area, strongly committed to the port business, but also in the rest of the Netherlands. We've developed specific functionality to organize energy hubs. That's not just for the harbor industrial area, but also for all these energy hubs to be created in the Netherlands. And to actually speed up that process and get the thing going. But we're also ambitious and want to go to the international markets eventually as well.
How is that working out for you?
It is working out. As a publicly owned company, it's not. We're not allowed to just bring public money to abroad, right? So it's finding the right corporations with people who take the platform along internationally, which we have a partnership for the US market, for instance, which is going well, although that the latest change of direction of the Trump government may slow it a bit down, but it's providing me trust in also in the future in these kind of countries as well. We've got attention from Saudi Arabia as well, which is a good thing. Not actively pursuing it, but in this sense, it concerns the Port of Sohar in cooperation with the Port of Rotterdam. So there is an opening for us to serve that as well. But we're also included or onboarded on large subsidy programs with ports in Portugal, in Germany, in various countries in Europe, for instance, and we're also looking at European markets and countries to as a next step. Yeah.
Okay, so if we then go a layer a little deeper, so how is the platform operating? How is the energy being managed? How is the trading being done?
The platform actually consists of a couple of function blocks, as you may call it. One is the continuous collection of metering data, near real-time data, not just from the metering companies, but also from steerboxes, from P1 devices in individual homes. We're continuous collecting data mandated by individuals, both consumers as companies. We have a mechanism for continuous forecasting. So every 15 minutes, again, we make new forecast, 48 hours ahead per 15 minutes. We do that every 15 minutes again. And every 15 minutes, again, new insights in change of expected consumption and production are matched and translated to individual transactions, including price settlement of that individual transaction. So we've got an area of providing forecasts and trading strategies and stuff, which is machine learned and AI driven. And on the other side, we've got a transactional platform, blockchain based, where every individual transaction, every individual contract is stored on blockchain related technology. So for us, the translation to tokenization of energy is actually also quite close by. In fact, we were Ethereum based initially, but for on the cost of IT and speed of bringing out new releases, we focused on functionality and not specifically on the tokenization, because that was still a technical thing underneath. But looking at the value of energy, I mean, currently the value of energy is actually articulated in various ways. I mean, it's the price per kilowatt hour, but having connection capacity is also relevant. How green is my energy? The certificates is relevant. Do I get a discount on my energy tax based on the resource I bought it from, for instance? So looking at all the elements that eventually determine the value of energy, and that energy token is actually a bigger thing than just a market price. And we've got the content to go that way. We've got the transactional platform to actually connect to blockchain platforms and tokens and stuff. But it's still something for us to further develop.
Well, if you see what the European Commission are saying, they fully support everything tokenization as a means to digitalize the economy.
Yeah.
But what's more is that, especially for the energy transition, they think that tokenization is pivotal and very important. Which brings me to my question, right? How do you position yourself? If you were to position yourself within that whole stack, the technology solution stack, and all the different technology providers and traders, where would you ideally position yourself?
That's actually a good question, because up until a couple of months ago, we were battling the current markets, trying to change the system from the inside out. Whereas my discussions with other trading houses are, well, you're adding a peer-to-peer market, but we've got so many markets already. And I'm like, well, it's not a local market. It's got not every component in it of valuation, but you're actually battling there, proving your concept right. If we look at the future energy system and at the energy token, that's a totally different ballgame. And the platform that we actually have is already able to operate such a token and the exchange of energy using these tokens. And there's a huge competitive advantage in there, conceptually, but also already technical in combination with our EMS partners, where we can actually already make it happen to some extent. And to answer your question, how to position ourselves, I'd rather say, well, the distro platform, together with its EMS partners, is actually the peer-to-peer exchange of energy for the future, based on the token on energy tokens, taking all these elements into account that actually determine the value of your energy. So if we're discussing value, old school is a platform of trading houses are looking into the markets, and you need to buy your certificates. in the value of an energy contract or an energy token. That value is all the certification, the source of the energy and what's happened to it, theoretically is already included, and the platform already has that technically in place. But maybe we need to develop that further and also articulate it better.
Do you then envision that the distro platform then supports multiple valuations for the same kilowatt hour at the same time slot for different customers? Or
it's bringing, and that's still the concept we need to discuss with, is actually bringing together value articulation from different angles into a value definition. And it's not going to be a euro, it's going to be some kind of a coin. Saying, okay, the value of this coin represents the value of energy taken into account, the markets, the resources, to what extent the transport was green, or I'm just making things up, but all these elements that we consider relevant for the value of energy in the new system should be included.
right.
And I think that's the big difference between the development of the distro platform compared to old school markets, including the granularity. I mean, we are already on the real-time management and valuation of exchange in 15-minute intervals. And for us, transferring to 5-minute intervals is
An IT change.
it's just speeding up the frequency. That's it.
Yeah,
Technology is already
like
there.
the DEX for energy hubs.
Yeah,
You know, right?
actually we are.
The decentralized exchange for energy hubs.
Yeah.
So if I, as a company, with a production facility, and what's the requirement for me to participate?
Actually quite easy. You create an account, provide us with a mandate, and we'll start operating the platform in parallel of your current energy contract. Proving the value right for your company, because it's also a trust thing, because there's a lot of money involved usually. And in parallel, we'll evaluate your current supplier contract and see whether it's feasible and changeable within the current supplier to a contract combined with distro, or maybe connect you directly to the wholesale market, or whatever's necessary to provide the value of that energy towards you as an end user. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of dashboarding and analysis behind that. I mean, we're just talking about it quite easily.
The plumbing is provided by you guys. Right?
Yep, it is. And technical plumbing is always a complex thing. It should not leak, and it doesn't. And also for an individual company to start using a relatively new platform, relatively new concept, also takes to cross that threshold of trust.
So you're a little bit of infrastructure, and you told me earlier that your business model, your way to earn money, is to take a little bit of the margin of the traded energy, right?
Yeah.
And is there an initial setup fee that you charge, or no?
No, there isn't. You can easily start connecting and start acting. Of course, if we provide dashboards, we provide analysis, that there's a cost to it, which is usually kind of a project-wise contract we have. But eventually, if you really start using the platform, it's relatively seen as small pocket money compared to the long-term relationship that we're aiming for.
So Jos, this seems to me that distro is a pivotal part in our mandate for sharing energy with batteries. How do you see that?
So I'm very happy, with the implementation. For me, it's a proof point that the second mandate was on energy sharing, energy trading. That you took that concept literally or as an inspiration, and make a commercial implementation. So that's really keen to see. I want to continue the discussion and support on tokenization, on how that could look like. Because I think that's something that can be added, as you expressed. And I'm also very keen to understand and to pathfind the way in implementing and using it in the battery concepts that we're working on in the third mandate of the Two Tokens Energy Working Group, where we want to seek new concepts of grouping individual batteries or sharing larger batteries with fractional ownership. So and I think all the different ingredients and components are there. What I lastly would like to understand is that if you look at the valuation of energy, if I have excessive energy, then I want to donate it to my children who are living on dormant, or I want to give it away for a very cheap price to my friends, or I want to have a market price, if I still have excessive energy, to an unknown party. So there's research done by TU Delft and how that works. And are those models also in the future of Distro Energy, or is that?
I think there's not a way to not do it in the end. Basically, the platform evaluates it financially currently to provide financial incentives to start sharing. But also fixing prices or cautiously lowering prices for a specific peer, in the end should be possible. So it's contract variations we need to look into, definitely, yes. And then it's also the question, if there's a risk applicable, how do you manage that risk? How does it relate? I mean, currently, if we connect peers and we fix a price, it's like making a transaction on the Dutch platform Marktplaats. There's always someone laughing a bit louder and the other one laughing a little bit less. So we've tried to make it as democratic, inclusive as possible. And then we also discover that there are examples, as you mentioned, that someone says, okay, that's a good thing, but I want to give it away to my spouse. Is that possible? And yes, that should be possible, of course. So one of the things that's then ahead, and that's also a call for all the listeners and watchers of this webinar. So if you want to contribute, if you want to listen in, if you have ideas on how we should construct the tokens and what elements do we need to engineer in and what are all the mechanisms we need to support, then please reach out to us, participate, contribute. We welcome everyone.
Well, and this is definitely something that we're doing in the Masterclass Digital Energy, right? So, we're doing this together with the Erasmus Center for Energy Transition. And you are both part of that. So, and the truth of the matter is, and it was again proven this week, nobody can do this alone. It's a stakeholder game. And we have to build this ecosystem and bring parties together. It's a multidisciplinary game.
I agree.
And you are positioned in a totally different way in this energy transition than some of the other partners and speakers here at this table. So I think it's very exciting that we bring this together. And perhaps November 20th, we have an expert session. That's what we should focus on. Have the complete stack together and agree on the stack and who does what.
Thinking of new concepts, I mean, it's obviously you need to work together. There's no party who can do this alone, right? But also collecting the tool sets you already have in place to make it happen is quite valuable, and build further on that. I mean, the theory is backed up by concrete implementations, concrete examples. And these concrete examples can then, again, learn of how they should change towards the future as well. So I totally agree.
And as you explained, Leonard, so having project implementations, getting all the details right is an art on itself.
It is. And it's also learning from practice as well.
Right.
Yeah, bringing the future to tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, here in Europe, we are used to working together. We have to, but if you look what China is doing, they don't have to work together, right? You have Jack Ma, he just, tokenized 1.5 billion solar panels, and they just implement. And that's, I guess, there's something to be said for having an autocratic regime. But in Europe, it's a different reality, right? And how do you see that? Because I'm sure that you're seeing traction in the Netherlands, but every country in Europe is different in a way.
Every country in Europe is different, although market mechanisms are quite comparable. But reflecting on that, I mean, globally, there's a lot happening currently with China, the US. It's a good thing for Europe to gather, to regather, and actually prove that we're not gone on the innovation roadmap or on the innovation stage, but we still have enough knowledge, content to actually regain our position that we once had. So also in the energy, I mean, someone said to me that there's going to be a battle between China and the US based on AI and all these raw materials and stuff. And somehow the definition of the value of energy and energy tokenization is actually reappearing and then strengthened by that movement on a global scale as well. So I really think we should gather on the European level and work closely together more than we're currently doing.
Finding synergies between all the initiatives.
And speed it up. Yeah. I mean, looking at a local level to the energy hub discussions, we need, for the sake of the energy transition, we need to speed that up. So if you've got the tools to do so, let's do so. But also on a European and a global scale, cooperation enables you to speed up if you do it right.
So, okay. So I think we did a reasonable coverage of the Distro platform. I'm sure there is a lot more to tell and to do and to demo. So if you're interested, I think,
Of course,
what's the website?
www.distroenergy.com. Personal details you can also find on LinkedIn, on the website. There's animation videos. We do prefer individual contact to elaborate more, tell you more, but also learn more, new insights and stuff. Always open.
Okay, so this was another episode of the Two Tokens webinar for the Energy series. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.
That was it for today's podcast. Thank you for listening in, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming episodes. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find our contact details at www.twotokens.org.